Ah, the North Rim. Such a different step back in time vibe from the far more popular South Side. It's only open from May to October, but if you get the chance, boy, is it worth the trip. All right, today a trail's eye view of the beaten path that connects the North and South Rims, the menacing and magnificent North Kaibab. Now we say menacing because the North Rim sits in the pines at an altitude of 8,000 feet. That's more than 1,000 feet higher than the South Rim. That's why the North Rim closes for the winter in mid-October. Come back in December and this trail is likely buried in snow and ice. There's the Coconino Overlook, which is 7/10 of a mile from the top. North Kaibab is a 13.6-mile hike to Phantom Ranch and another 7 to 10 to the South Rim from there, depending on which trail you take. The vast majority of hikers you run into here are in the midst of going rim to rim, which is probably the #1 bucket list hike in the canyon. North Kaibab is smooth in parts and rocky and uneven in others, especially just below the rim where the daily mule trains help create big ruts that can easily lead to twisted knees and sprained ankles if you aren't careful. If you do see the mules, just step off to the side. They are fun to see. The mule's primary turnaround point is Supai Tunnel, which is 1.7 miles from the trailhead. There are toilets here and sometimes water, but you should check water availability before you descend and always, always, always carry a filter in the canyon just in case. Through Supai Tunnel and on to the steepest part of North Kaibab, the slog through the red dirt and many switchbacks to Redwall Bridge and then on to Roaring Springs. Worth noting that hikers you see coming up North Kaibab rarely have smiles on their faces at this point. Most are probably just ready for it to be over. Coming up on Redwall Bridge here, and then North Kaibab plays a little bit of a trick on us. For whatever reason, we've got a nice little uphill for a little bit here. But then we level out and keep on descending, now hugging the canyon wall with some steep drop-offs on the other side, but really there's nothing to worry about. You never really feel like you're in any danger, so if you're afraid of heights or nervous about this part, I'd say there's really nothing to worry about as long as you stay on the trail. Once we get past the cliffs, we come into Roaring Springs Canyon and start to see the namesake Roaring Springs waterfall in the distance. Roaring Springs is a natural aquifer that supplies all the water to both the North and South Rims. And here we are 4.7 miles from the trailhead and have already descended more than 3,000 feet. All right, our next stop is just about 3/4 of a mile down the trail and maybe the nicest of the rest stops on all of the corridor trails. This is Manzanita rest area. There are toilets, water, and picnic tables here, as well as your first access to Bright Angel Creek if you need to filter. Moving on, we're just about 1.5 miles from Cottonwood Campground. Most hikers are great about yielding, but not all. It took me a while to get past this group, but all in good fun. Cottonwood is the halfway point between the North Rim and Phantom Ranch. We're now 6.8 miles from the trailhead and have lost more than 4,100 feet of elevation. Better use the restroom and fill up on water here because this is the last stop before Phantom, which is still almost 7 miles away. After Cottonwood, you'll notice the almost constant presence of Bright Angel Creek, which will run close to the trail for most of the rest of the way. Again, carrying a filter is highly recommended so you never put yourself in danger of running out of water. The junction to Ribbon Falls is in this area. Best to look up current conditions before you make that side trip, as there is still no bridge access across the creek as of late 2023. Before long, we enter one of the most iconic parts of this hike, the box. You can see why it gets its name. It's so cool. The canyon walls just close in on you and stay that way for more than 4 miles. It can be brutally hot in here in the warmer months as the walls kind of create like an oven effect, so it's best to be clear of here well before the heat of the day. By the way, as fun as it is, the box does seem endless, with Phantom Ranch seemingly around the next bend for miles and miles. Eventually, though, we do hit Phantom 13.6 miles after we dropped in from North Kaibab. Total elevation loss, 5,695 feet. Relax and recharge at Phantom, have some of their famous lemonade, and get ready for the long trip out, either South Kaibab or Bright Angel. That's the trail's eye view of North Kaibab. We'd appreciate a like and a subscribe to the channel so that we can continue bringing you more content that we hope helps you plan your trip and ultimately fall in love with the Grand Canyon just as we have.